Countless golden treasure chests line cavernous walls, shimmering with a mystical glow. A world of golden riches surrounds a triumphant figure and a kneeling, unfortunate boy, signifying a destiny determined from birth. A beautiful, smiling, white-haired woman with pointed ears proposes to make a bet with a human. A digital display reveals a dire luck minus 9,999, affirming that the unfortunate will always remain unfortunate. Her hand snaps, the air crackles, as she offers 99 chances of luck and one of calamity. A shimmering light emanates as the woman invites someone to, "Come on." The woman stands bathed in golden light, arms spread wide, surrounded by an abundance of treasure, basking in her overwhelming good fortune. A powerful voice commands him to test your luck. The dark-haired boy looks utterly dejected, questioning why his life turned out this way. An ambulance crashes catastrophically into a hospital, illustrating the boy's extreme bad luck. The boy lies sick in bed, surrounded by medicine and a heater, reflecting on how he always got a fever before exams. Holding a fortune slip, he recalls 20 consecutive years of great bad luck omikuji. Rain pours down during a field trip, drenching the boy and his classmates, another instance of his perpetual misfortune. A dark, ominous background reveals the boy's nickname, God of Pestilence. A colossal, ethereal structure, resembling a magnificent golden tower or weapon, glows against a vibrant sky. This majestic structure now looms over a modern city, a testament to its integration after dungeons appeared worldwide. Fuku, an F-rank hunter, is called by name and looks surprised. CG, a C-rank hunter, grins as he proposes doubling the group's shared fund, beginning this week. Fuku expresses shock and concern over the sudden demand to double his contribution. Seiji's face contorts into a terrifying, fanged grin with glowing red eyes, revealing his predatory intent. Seiji intimidatingly asks if Fuku intends to refuse payment, then reminds him of their group connection. Fuku appears distressed as Seiji tells him a group that accepts a god of pestilence like him is unique, subtly implying he has no other options. Seiji casually pats Fuku on the back, remarking, "Yeah, good job." Fuku attempts to speak to Seiji, who holds something in his hand and walks away, seemingly ignoring him. Seiji looks back with a smug smile, flaunting a thick wad of money. Fuku walks alone, observing Seiji and the others, musing that their group fund is just a fancy term. A hand holds numerous banknotes, as Fuku concludes the group fund is a well-designed tax system. Still alone against the city backdrop, Fuku bluntly states that the situation sounds terrible. Seiji smirks knowingly at Fuku, acknowledging his resentment without care. Fuku walks in the rain, acknowledging that merely getting any use out of his bad luck is fortunate enough. Fuku continues to walk alone in the rain, pondering the very nature of luck. The boy kneels reverently before a family altar, reiterating that his fate was determined from birth. A panel engulfed in roaring flames, symbolizing intense misfortune. The boy kneels within a fiery red glow, completely overwhelmed, as the narration concludes what bad luck truly is. Fuku runs through the pouring rain towards the impressive building housing the Dungeon Hunters Guild. Fuku stands at a counter, confirming he is alone again today. Concerned hunters watch as a muscular man warns that getting close to Fuku causes death. Muscular man emphatically states his warning about Fuku is not a joke. A massive bolt of lightning cracks across the sky, highlighting the destructive power of Fuku's misfortune. Fuku approaches the imposing entrance to the, quote, Goblin Cave, as lightning illuminates the stormy sky. An observer comments that Fuku is once again heading into the Goblin Cave alone. A no entry, no mineral extraction sign stands near the dungeon entrance, with a worker in a hard hat nearby. A worker tells his colleague that he is all done and will seal the entrance too. One worker confirms with another that no hunters are still inside the dungeon, confidently believing it's empty. The dungeon's red control panel lights up, indicating activation or sealing of the entrance. Dripping water sounds echo within the eerie, dark dungeon, setting an unsettling atmosphere. Fuku, inside the dungeon, senses that something's off. Fuku cautiously walks deeper into the dungeon, noting that it's usually way quieter. Fuku, holding a pickaxe, resolves that he can handle goblins on his own. Fuku looks alarmed as countless glowing yellow eyes appear from the dark, indicating he is surrounded by unseen creatures. A powerful burst of energy illuminates the dark dungeon, signaling an intense moment. Ferocious goblins with sharp teeth and weapons emerge from the shadows, ready to attack. Fuku recoils in utter shock and disbelief, as a large horde of goblins swarms him. Fuku frantically runs through the cavern, clutching his pickaxe, exclaiming in confusion about the sudden appearance of so many goblins. Fuku looks back in fear while running from the goblins, unaware of the white-haired woman observing him from above. A green goblin hand grabs Fuku's backpack, knocking his pickaxe away. Fuku cries out in alarm as his essential gear falls to the ground, leaving him unarmed. Fuku desperately flees from the pursuing goblins, cursing his predicament as he speeds through the dungeon. Fuku falls through a large, glowing chasm into the unknown depths of the dungeon. Fuku lands forcefully in a dead end, the ground cracking from the impact, realizing his escape route is blocked. Fuku is trapped, cornered by a menacing large goblin and several smaller ones with no clear path to escape. Fuku faces his attackers, resolving that he has no choice but to fight the goblins head-on in this desperate situation. Fuku stares in disbelief at his broken pickaxe, exclaiming in shock that it's shattered. A menacing close-up shows the goblin horde, their eyes glowing with aggressive intent. A goblin lunges with its jaw wide open, about to strike Fuku, highlighting his immediate danger. Fuku stands amidst a circle of surrounding goblins, seemingly unarmed and overwhelmed. Fuku is completely surrounded by glowing goblin eyes, signifying an inescapable encirclement. Fuku's feet are shown surrounded by glowing particles on the dungeon floor, hinting at a mystical intervention. A chaotic burst of dark energy with vibrant streaks surrounds Fuku, indicating a powerful, possibly magical, event. Fuku floats or falls through a red, ethereal void, his body and weapon bathed in an ominous glow. An intense light radiates outwards as shattered debris flies, suggesting a cataclysmic transformation or impact. Fuku screams in terror as he continues to fall through the chaotic red energy. Fuku lands safely but dazed, questioning if he is still alive, as the horned woman appears before him. The woman, with her long white hair, explains that his very presence proves either extraordinary luck or unluckiness. Golden particles sparkle around the woman's feet on an ornate, glowing floor, emphasizing her divine presence. The woman smiles, revealing her dual-colored eyes, stating that Fuku must be the unluckiest person in history. The woman playfully teases Fuku, inviting him to guess her identity. The woman reveals herself to be the god of luck, posing dramatically amidst glowing golden symbols. The woman stands triumphantly amidst countless golden treasure chests, while Fuku kneels below, overwhelmed by the sight. Fuku stares up at the seemingly endless array of glowing treasure chests, murmuring in awe and despair. The woman, now seen from behind, addresses Fuku, sarcastically asking if he believes he possesses good luck. The woman spreads her arms wide, radiating immense golden light from the surrounding treasure chests, as she confidently presents her domain. A close-up on the woman's mesmerizing eyes conveys her belief that even a small change in luck could significantly improve Fuku's life. The woman extends her hand, inviting Fuku to approach her as golden light shimmers around her. Fuku looks utterly terrified and overwhelmed by the situation, lamenting that it is merely a dangerous game of chance. The woman attempts to reassure Fuku, playfully calling him a lucky adventurer despite his obvious distress. The woman explains that whoever reaches the deepest part of her dungeon will be granted a special reward, as Fuku listens anxiously. Numerous glowing golden treasure chests float in a radiant ethereal space, symbolizing the vast rewards. The woman elegantly states that simply handing over the reward would be no fun for her. The woman, emanating golden light, declares that as the god of luck, she proposes a thrilling bet. More golden chests shimmer and float, emphasizing the grand scale of the divine challenge. The woman stands confidently amidst the chests, asserting that someone with average luck has nothing to fear from her challenge. The woman commands Fuku to make his choice from the many chests. From behind, Fuku faces the woman, who challenges him to test his luck. The woman sternly informs Fuku that he has no right to refuse her challenge and must choose. Fuku looks distraught, attempting to state his full name, Fukutaro, perhaps hinting at his inherent misfortune. Magnificent golden treasure chest gleams, inviting a choice. Fuku reaches towards a shining chest, stating that this action is why he knows something. Fuku cries out in terror, his face distorted in despair, as the golden chests now appear ominous against a dark background. Swirling purple and red energy with sharp, bold X marks signifies a powerful, perhaps ominous, and inevitable outcome. The golden chest reveals bad luck as swirling purple and red energy with bold X marks erupt around Fuku. Fuku screams in terror as the ominous purple and red energy engulfs him, signifying the powerful negative outcome. A voice expresses disbelief that Fuku managed to pull the 1 in 100 calamity. The god of luck calmly observes Fuku, who is still engulfed in the dark, swirling energy, as the calamity takes hold. Fuku lies on the ground, seemingly unconscious or gravely affected by the purple energy, as the strange transformation continues. A warning appears on a holographic display, detecting Fuku's status change and reflecting his new, glitching skill values, including his low rank. The display reveals Fuku has acquired a new skill, Great Inversion, which is now highlighted and checked. The god of luck, in her childlike form, smirks, commenting on Fuku's misfortune and stating how unfortunate his luck is. The god of luck explains that the Great Inversion is a calamity skill that absolutely inverts everything. Fuku looks deeply distressed and confused, questioning what is happening to him as the mysterious events unfold. Pip, the god of luck, now in her adult form, offers Fuku another chance if he promises to worship her. Okay, I understand. Please provide the text you would like me to read back to you. Fuku reacts with a stunned, "What?" looking overwhelmed by the god of luck's unexpected offer. A mysterious hand reaches through a glowing blue portal, initiating another shift in the bizarre encounter. Fuku tumbles through a bright, watery blue void, surrounded by debris and energy, transported once more by the strange powers. The god of luck is also seen falling upside down through the same blue, watery void, looking equally surprised by the new development. The god of luck cries out in alarm as she continues to fall through the chaotic blue energy. The blue, watery void pulses with energy, and a hand is visible within it, emphasizing the ongoing, disorienting descent. The god of luck exclaims in shock, questioning the turn of events as she continues to fall through the blue void. A voice questions what is happening as the chaotic descent through the blue energy continues. The god of luck lets out another cry of distress as she spirals through the glowing blue void. Fuku, looking dazed, feels a strange warmth and wonders if a hot spring erupted around him. Fuku realizes in panic that he is drowning as his hand reaches out in the watery blue void. Fuku thinks to himself, "In the end, as he sinks further into the luminous water. Fuku continues his internal monologue, "M.A., as the glowing yellow structures appear around him in the blue void. Fuku finishes his thought, declaring himself a loser, feeling defeated as he drifts in the illuminated blue water. Fuku safely lands in a dark, damp cavern, emerging from a small, glowing pool of water. Fuku, soaked and disoriented, expresses surprise at being still alive after his dramatic fall. Fuku gasps in terror as a menacing horde of goblins with glowing eyes appears behind him in the cavern. Fuku, panicking, recalls that he forgot something crucial, his eyes wide with horror at the approaching threat. Fuku looks confused and surprised as a large, imposing goblin with a distinct appearance steps forward from the horde. Fuku, realizing the identity of the large goblin, exclaims in shock, "The Goblin Queen?" Fuku then recognizes the glowing amulet on the Goblin Queen as the boss emblem, confirming her status as the dungeon's leader. Fuku stands trapped, completely encircled by the glowing-eyed goblin horde within the cavern. Fuku screams in frustration, lamenting his terrible luck, and realizing that today is the day he must face the Goblin Queen. The Goblin Queen raises her arm, menacingly displaying her glowing boss emblem, ready to engage in battle. A powerful burst of red energy and a large X symbol emanate from the Goblin Queen, signifying an impending attack. The enraged goblin horde charges forward, yelling, "Pig!" as red energy flashes around them, signaling their imminent assault on Fuku. Fuku, utterly terrified, shouts that he has "gotta run" from the charging goblin horde. Fuku frantically flees from the pursuing goblins, screaming "Ah!" in desperate fear. Fuku is enveloped in a red swirling vortex, protesting, "Not here!" as he seems to be teleporting or moving at incredible speed. A goblin looks back in confusion, possibly at Fuku's sudden disappearance from their pursuit. Fuku is shown kneeling, looking distraught and exuding red energy, indicating his continued struggle with misfortune. Fuku curses his predicament, "Damn it!" as his string of bad luck persists. Rocks begin to fall from above, signaling new environmental hazards or another impending danger. A massive rock crashes down, shattering into pieces and dust upon impact, creating debris and emphasizing the destructive force. Fuku, with his back turned, faces a towering, ominous red figure, hinting at a new, formidable opponent or obstacle. A chaotic explosion of red energy engulfs the scene, radiating outward from Fuku and the towering figure, signifying a powerful, destructive event. A large rock or structure breaks apart with a bright, fiery crack, reinforcing the sense of destruction and power. The Goblin Queen stands in the foreground, looking away, while Fuku is a small, distant figure, seemingly still trapped and burdened by his continuous misfortune. A powerful impact rocks the cave as red, fractured debris erupts upwards from the ground. More chaotic red energy and fragmented debris signify the intense, ongoing destruction. Fuku lies on the ground, affected by a purple energy pool, reacting with fear as the unsettling situation continues around him. The ominous goblin horde, led by the Goblin Queen, advances, their glowing eyes fixed on Fuku. Fuku panics, shouting that the cave is collapsing, intensifying the environmental threat around him. The Goblin Queen looks confused, questioning the chaotic events unfolding, perhaps reacting to Fuku's distress. A vibrant red explosion engulfs the scene, representing the raw, destructive power of the collapsing cavern. The intense red and purple chaotic energy persists, further indicating the violent collapse of the surroundings. The environment continues to crumble with swirling energy and falling debris, amplifying the dangerous atmosphere. A goblin is partially visible amidst the red and purple chaos, suggesting their continued presence despite the destruction. More of the goblin horde is seen engulfed in the chaotic energy and debris, showing the widespread impact of the collapse. A goblin's form is consumed by the destructive energy, emphasizing the overwhelming force of the cavern's collapse. Fuku screams in terror as the cave violently crumbles around him, escalating his desperate situation. The Goblin Queen stands firm amidst the collapsing cave, seemingly unaffected by the destructive forces. Rocks continue to fall from the ceiling, adding to the immediate danger and reinforcing the instability of the cavern. Scattered goblin bodies lie on the ground, indicating the destructive power unleashed by the collapse. Fuku appears bewildered by the events, while the Goblin Queen stares blankly, possibly in the eerie aftermath. The Goblin Queen, surprisingly, worries if she's super mad, while Fuku remains distressed by the chaotic turn of events. Fuku stands with his back to the Goblin Queen, who addresses him with an ambiguous, questioning tone. The Goblin Queen's face fills with hearts, revealing a sudden, intense romantic interest in Fuku, a bizarre shift due to his great inversion skill. A humorous, sexy Goblin Queen ranking appears, unexpectedly placing Fukutaro in the #1 spot, confirming the calamitous skill's inversion effect. Fuku is utterly stunned and flustered, trying to comprehend the Goblin Queen's unexpected affection as she stares intently at him. The Goblin Queen explicitly expresses her desire to get pregnant with Fuku, who reacts in horror, frantically trying to ward her off. Fuku screams in pure terror, vehemently rejecting the Goblin Queen's advances as red energy flares around him. Fuku, utterly defeated and surrounded by misfortune, curses his predicament and declares himself definitely cursed. Fuku is now in a different setting, holding the glowing Goblin Queen's boss emblem, which pulses with power. Back in a modern city, Fuku looks confused and burdened by the glowing, pulsating boss emblem, questioning its purpose. A new male character with piercings advises Fuku that all obtained items should be used for the entire team's benefit. Fuku looks downcast and conflicted, silently processing the heavy implication of the team-first advice. Fuku walks through a modern city park alongside the girl who accompanied him earlier. A distressed horned girl looks on, seemingly reacting to the mention of the cursed item or the ongoing situation. Fuku, now radiating blue energy, stands ready to confront a towering, ominous red figure with horns, preparing for battle. Fuku's eyes glow blue, and crackling blue energy surrounds him, signifying his enhanced and determined state. Fuku continues to walk with the girl, pondering that the boss emblem he acquired is undeniably a cursed item. The girl accompanying Fuku interjects, confirming her awareness and curiosity about the item he just obtained. A muscular man and an angry blonde woman argue about money, indicating a heated dispute that Fuku might be involved in. Fuku, looking distressed, apologizes, acknowledging his attempt wouldn't work and offering something more valuable than money. The muscular man aggressively grabs Fuku by the shirt, warning him harshly not to interfere in their business. The blonde woman emphatically agrees with the muscular man, reiterating their warning to Fuku. The muscular man notes Fuku's difficult situation, explaining that his analysis confirms the item's true nature. The man with piercings suggests that discarding the item would be wasteful, implying they should retain it for its utility. The man with piercings agrees to let the matter slide, but Fuku, still holding the emblem, questions his certainty. The man with piercings confidently confirms his decision, extending a hand in agreement. Fuku and the girl both react with surprised expressions as the situation takes another unexpected turn. The girl intervenes with an outstretched hand, pausing the unfolding events and demanding attention. The man with piercings questions the identity of Fuku and the girl, who stands protectively in front of him. The girl introduces herself as a state-certified A-class analyst, establishing her professional authority. Fuku reacts with bewildered confusion, repeating the terms a class and analyst in disbelief. Another individual at a nearby table mentions hearing the word fraud, raising suspicions about the situation or Fuku. The man with piercings attempts to de-escalate the tension, asking for less harsh accusations. Other people in the room react with shock, realizing the item Fuku holds might be legendary and questioning if the man and woman were trying to steal it. The muscular man confronts Fuku, angrily asking what kind of scum he is for their earlier exchange. Ayase Oi clearly states that tricking someone who doesn't know an item's true value to take it from them is outright fraud. Ayase Aoi points accusingly, telling the man with piercings and his companions that they should be ashamed of their actions. Fuku, standing behind Ayase Aoi, feels overwhelmed by the escalating confrontation and wonders what he should do. The man with piercings reacts with a frustrated TCH, annoyed by Ayase Aoi's persistent interference. Ayase Aoi apologizes for her intervention, admitting she couldn't keep quiet and meddled in the situation. Fuku tries to gently remove his hand from Ayase Aoi's grip, who is now surrounded by hearts, asking if she can let go of him. Well, that's one way to win someone's heart. Or hand. Ayase Aoi blushes and gasps, realizing her overly affectionate reaction to Fuku after his great inversion skill effect. Fuku looks at his glowing boss emblem, pondering if its supposed legendary status could somehow be a big mistake. Fuku holds up the pulsating boss emblem, musing that despite being legendary, it looks more like a cursed item. Ayase Aoi vehemently denies Fuku's thought, insisting that the item is definitely not cursed. Ayase Aoi presents her official state-issued A-class analyst license, proving her professional authority and credentials. Fuku stands proudly amidst a group of people, as Ayase Aoi's analysis confirms the item is an S-class treasure due to its acquisition difficulty. The surrounding crowd reacts with awe and excitement, exclaiming that Fuku's item is a true legendary artifact and their first time seeing one. People excitedly ask Fuku if he possesses incredible luck, leaving Fuku confused and questioning their assertion. The glowing boss emblem pulses with powerful purple energy, while Fuku silently insists there's no way he could have incredible luck. Fuku and the others look down at the glowing emblem with curious expressions, wondering what exactly is happening with the item. The boss emblem intensifies its glow, surrounded by swirling, powerful purple and red chaotic energy. Everyone, including Fuku, reacts with alarm as the mysterious energy surges from the emblem, causing them to question what is happening. Fuku stands exasperated in a park, cursing the situation that has led to yet another unfortunate event for him. Fuku angrily kicks a trash can, fuming that Ayase Aoi humiliated him publicly and questioning her audacity. Seiji-san, the man with piercings, is consumed by intense rage, expressing his inability to calm down after the confrontation. The muscular man and the blonde woman look cautiously at the furious Seiji-san, sensing his escalating anger. Seiji-san's face contorts with a malevolent grin as he suggests a horrific act of violence against Ayase Aoi. Seiji-san continues his dark rant, proposing to involve others and collectively attack Ayase Aoi. Seiji-san, the muscular man, and the blonde woman look confused, wondering about an unexpected sound they just heard. Goblins suddenly appear from nowhere, their glowing red eyes fixing on the surprised group. A dark, shimmering, portal-like effect signals the unexpected emergence of the goblins into the city. Muscular man, blonde woman, and Seiji-san react with extreme shock and terror at the horrifying appearance of the goblins. Goblins quickly swarm and grab Seiji-san, immediately subduing him with their green hands. The muscular man and the blonde woman lie helpless on the ground, surrounded by goblins, screaming in pure terror. Seiji-san is overwhelmed by the relentless goblin horde, struggling and exclaiming his disbelief as they seize him. An emergency broadcast blares through city loudspeakers, announcing the sudden appearance of numerous monsters in the urban area. A security officer shouts an alarm, questioning if the monsters came from the dungeon and warning of the grave danger. The security officer reveals with shock that several adventurers have already been abducted inside the dungeon. Seiji-san desperately struggles against the goblins, screaming for them to release him as they drag him away. Goblins continue to drag Seiji-san, calling him pig in their own language and indicating they intend to make him their prey. The muscular man and the blonde woman lie bewildered on the ground, questioning what the goblins are saying and admitting their confusion. The goblins are seen dragging their three captives deeper into the dark, ominous dungeon cave. Seiji-san looks terrified as two large, grotesque goblins laugh menacingly, realizing his dire situation. A large female goblin grins toothily, noting that Seiji-san smells like a male, indicating her lecherous intentions. Another goblin eagerly suggests that it wants to torture Seiji-san, emphasizing their cruel nature. A goblin hand roughly grabs Seiji-san by his collar, pulling him deeper into the grim cavern. Seiji-san is suspended over a dark, swirling red vortex, seemingly being pulled down into a deeper part of the dungeon. A menacing goblin raises its arm, its yellow eyes glowing, ready to strike its helpless captive. Seiji-san screams in agony as he is surrounded by the goblins, who are likely beginning their torturous acts. Close-up shows goblins brutally tormenting Seiji-san, with blood spatter indicating the violence of their actions. Fuku holds the boss emblem, pondering the mysterious light emanating from it. Fuku and Ayase Aoi, along with others, notice a commotion brewing outside the building. A loud voice from outside echoes through the room, urgently asking if Fukutaro is there. A powerful horned figure bursts through the doors in a flash of light, making a breathless entrance. Fuku looks bewildered, trying to recall who the newly arrived horned figure is. The distressed horned figure points forward with wide, panicked eyes, seemingly unable to voice their demand. A digital interface appears, displaying the grand reversal skill and other technical information. Fuku and Ayase Aoi look on with expressions of growing surprise and concern. 30 years ago, miners toiled in a dazzling crystal cavern, extracting glowing resources. A modern gold vein abruptly emerged, transforming the city and giving rise to the dungeon. Miners continue to extract glowing crystals, while countless unknown artifacts are brought forth from the dungeon. A radiant, supernatural being, worshipped by many, is revealed as the one who governs the dungeon. The horned girl extends her arm, vehemently demanding the item be returned to her. Fuku struggles as if being pulled or shaken by an unseen force, or perhaps an illusion of himself. Others observe the horned girl's distinct features, questioning if her horns are real or merely a costume. The horned girl angrily retorts, questioning who Ayase Aoi calls a child, and dramatically declares herself a god. The onlookers are stunned by the horned girl's declaration, realizing a god has emerged from the dungeon. Ayase Aoi's eyes widen in awe and disbelief upon realizing the horned girl is a god. Ayase Aoi excitedly asks if she is the dungeon's managing god, and the horned girl proudly confirms it. The horned girl introduces herself as Alir, the god of luck, with a confident grin. Alir points an accusatory finger at Fuku, tearfully claiming he took something very precious from her. Ayase Aoi reacts with shock, questioning if Fuku truly stole something very precious. Ayase Aoi struggles to hold back Alir as Fuku, lying on the ground, frantically denies stealing the item, insisting it was forced upon him. Fuku inwardly wonders if Alir is referring to the disaster skill that was forced onto him. Fuku clarifies to the bewildered crowd that Alir is likely referring to the cursed disaster or grand reversal skill. Alir excitedly confirms Fuku's understanding, then impatiently demands her grand reversal skill back. Fuku, unable to understand how to return a skill, wonders what he's supposed to do, while Alir appears annoyed. With a menacing grin, Alir declares her annoyance and decides to forcibly resolve the situation. The Divine Gamble skill is activated, surrounded by intense, shattering energy. Alir unleashes a barrage of glowing blue energy shards from her Divine Gamble skill, shocking Fuku. Fuku's eyes widen in sheer terror and disbelief at the overwhelming power. Ayase Aoi clutches her head, visibly affected by the powerful, unseen impact. The environment drastically changes, leaving Ayase Aoi kneeling and Fuku standing under a bright, ethereal sky. Ayase Aoi, disoriented by the sudden shift, questions her current location. Alir, floating above a bewildered Fuku, confidently reintroduces herself as the god who governs luck and gambling. Alir explains that her Divine Gamble skill allows her to transform anything into a betting object. Alir continues, explaining that even wealth, status, partners, and appearance can be turned into betting objects. Alir reveals the terrifying extent of her power. Even life itself can be a betting object. With a chilling expression, Alir extends her hand, demanding the skill back. Alir aggressively demands her grand reversal skill, while Fuku frantically tries to stop her. Fuku looks utterly terrified as the glowing boss emblem pulsates above his head. Wah! Fuku lets out a terrified scream, overcome by the intense experience. 2 hours later, time has passed, hinted by a whimsical pattern of chibi Alir. Fuku and Ayase Aoi look mortified as Alir floats serenely in water, completely naked. Wah! Alir, still naked in the ethereal water, cries out in anguish and asks why not, while Fuku and Ayase Aoi observe her despair. Alir, now dressed, extends her hand with a confident expression, indicating her recovery or renewed intent. Alir tells Ayase Aoi that Fuku's survival is a miracle, prompting Ayase Aoi to ask for clarification. Alir explains to a surprised Fuku that extreme negative luck should normally lead to a person's death. Fuku considers that, in that context, his continued existence might indeed be a form of luck, despite everything. Alir, looking determined, prepares for action as a bright, golden energy surrounds her, signaling an imminent event. The environment shatters around them like glass, revealing the blue sky and clouds, indicating a dramatic shift. Fragments of the shattered reality fall, with Fuku and Ayase Aoi looking up as they return to their original setting. Back in the crowded room, Ayase Aoi begins to address the issue of Alir's grand reversal skill. Ayase Aoi shouts Fuku's name in alarm, reacting to a sudden development or danger. A frantic man bursts through the door in a flash, making a dramatic and breathless entrance into the room. The enraged, bloodied man who burst through the door fiercely demands to know how Fuku dared to do what he did. The distressed man shouts at Fuku, accusing him of using the clan chief emblem. The glowing clan chief emblem is displayed, confirming it as the object of contention. Fuku, startled, recognizes the clan chief emblem, remembering his connection to it. The man, wielding a knife, aggressively tells Fuku that a useless god of misfortune should be grateful he used the emblem. The man continues his enraged rant, threatening Fuku and demanding that he serve as a power source. The enraged man prepares to throw a knife at Fuku, his face contorted in anger. A skill notification reveals skill, knife throwing, as the attacker screams, "Die." The thrown knife rapidly flies towards Fuku and Ayase Aoi, who both duck in surprise. Alir shouts, "Watch out!" as she lunges forward to intercept the incoming projectile. Alir steps in front of Fuku, recognizing the malice directed at him. The attacker's furious cry to die echoes as the knife speeds towards Alir. The knife is shown mid-air, a deadly projectile heading straight for its target. Alir remarkably blocks the knife with her bare hand, startling both Fuku and the assailant. The knife, deflected by Alir, impales a decorative chandelier above, splattering blood. The man who threw the knife looks utterly shocked as the weapon remains embedded in the chandelier. Fuku looks up at the damaged chandelier, confused by the strange turn of events. The impaled chandelier visibly begins to crack and shatter, fragments falling. The chandelier continues to disintegrate rapidly, sending debris flying. Fuku and Ayase Aoi watch in shock as the chandelier crumbles above, a result of Alir's protective action. Ayase Aoi and the man stare in disbelief as a scream echoes, signaling a sudden development. Ayase Aoi turns to Fuku, urging him to pay close attention to the unfolding situation. Ayase Aoi insists Fuku observe, explaining this bizarre outcome is the true effect of her grand catastrophe skill, leaving him wide-eyed. The angry man collapses with a bloody hand, and the wrecked chandelier is shown, illustrating how the attack was reflected. Bad luck attracts negative outcomes and repels positive ones, as Fuku is shown amidst destruction. Conversely, good luck attracts positive outcomes and repels negative ones, depicted by a hand surrounded by shining coins. If malice is aimed at overwhelming luck, it will be rejected, while the man who threw the knife writhes in agony. The explanation continues, stating that the rejected malice, now aimless, naturally returns to its origin. The message concludes that the malice will revert to its source, accompanied by an image of a bloody hand on the ground. Alir, in an outdoor setting, playfully asks Ayase Aoi if she's paying attention. Ayase Aoi holds a transformed, fuzzy blue Fuku, screaming in alarm alongside Alir. Well, that's one way to turn your bad luck into a fluffy problem. Bluebirds fly peacefully in the sunny sky above a lush tree. Alir speculates the birds were for a, quote, celestial burial, while Fuku, now in his normal form, asks if they were all bluebirds, subtly referencing his transformation. Ayase Aoi labels Alir a deranged luck monster and warns that her extreme luck could cause unexpected discoveries if she just digs into the ground. Ayase Aoi consults a glowing blue interface, questioning if this immense luck is due to the quote-quote grand reversal skill, as Fuku looks on. Alir confidently declares that the grand reversal skill now belongs to Ayase Aoi, and she must cherish it. Ayase Aoi acknowledges Alir's words, though she still seems to be processing the new reality. Fuku, beaming, sincerely thanks Alir for the unexpected change in his fortune. Alir triumphantly proclaims Fuku her follower, asserting that his newfound luck is a blessing from the god of luck. Ayase Aoi is startled by an incoming message from the guild on her device. Ayase Aoi answers her communication device, appearing surprised by the guild's call. Alir, holding a fan, laughs as she declares Fuku is now her follower, securing his allegiance. Alir, with a wide, mischievous grin, welcomes Ayase Aoi to the court of Alir. Ayase Aoi informs a startled Alir that the guild has received numerous complaints regarding her gambling activities. Alir pretends to be oblivious to the accusations, feigning innocence while Ayase Aoi looks stern. Ayase Aoi scolds Alir for feigning ignorance, revealing that adventurers complained about being forced to become followers to reclaim their items. Ayase Aoi points to a protesting crowd of adventurers, confirming Alir's coercive methods to gain followers. Ayase Aoi furiously chastises Alir for calling her manipulative recruitment a blessing and for misusing a dangerous skill. Alir casually dismisses the accusations as merely promoting independence, while Ayase Aoi firmly declares withholding items is a direct threat. Alir cryptically explains to Fuku that her actions have a deep reasoning for them. Alir illustrates that a god's rank is determined by the sheer number of their followers. Alir, pointing to a hierarchy chart, explains her almost god rank and the severe consequence of losing divinity if followers decrease. Alir, seemingly embarrassed, reveals her current rank is number 7, making her the second lowest among the gods. Ayase Aoi, curious, directly asks Alir what happens if a god loses their divinity. Alir hesitates, unable to utter the grim consequences of losing divinity aloud. Fuku and Ayase Aoi watch Alir, who remains distressed and avoids eye contact, leaving the fate of a god who loses divinity unsaid. Ayase Aoi and Fuku look distressed, with Ayase Aoi questioning if Alir will disappear. Fuku cries out Alir's name in alarm and concern. Ayase Aoi and Fuku grab Alir, attempting to physically prevent her potential disappearance. Fuku tearfully pleads with Alir not to vanish, expressing his gratitude and a hope for understanding from others. Alir is embraced by Ayase Aoi and reassured by Fuku, who promises to ensure everything is fine. Alir subtly smiles, remarking that the mood has shifted, and they must now restart their efforts to raise her rank. Fuku enthusiastically declares they will raise Alir's prestige, and Ayase Aoi confidently agrees to take charge. Ayase Aoi, with Fuku and Alir, states she has valuable connections that will help them. The scene shifts to reveal a magnificent, ancient-looking temple or palace under a dramatic sky. The trio stands before the grand entrance of the imposing structure, poised to enter. Ayase Aoi points to the imposing A-rank Great Iron Labyrinth, detailing its extreme difficulty and low 30% survival rate. Fuku is shocked by the dungeon's brutal survival rate and the requirement for high-ranking hunters to enter. Ayase Aoi reassures Fuku and Alir, confidently declaring she holds a B-rank hunter license, allowing them entry. Various adventurers, looking unenthusiastic, fill out forms, depicting the tedious administrative side of adventuring. Ayase Aoi grabs Alir's hand, urgently pulling her, and a startled Fuku towards the dungeon entrance. Ayase Aoi leads Fuku up the grand stairs by the hand, with Alir following as they charge into the dungeon. Two men observe the trio from behind a wall, one watching them ascend the steps. Inside the dungeon, a character remarks that this environment is vastly different from a typical goblin cave. Ayase Aoi explains that dungeons vary greatly, emphasizing the unique nature of their current location. Alir questions Fuku's understanding of what a dungeon truly is, hinting at its deeper significance. Alir reveals that dungeons are created by gods for humans who have lost their faith, ghostly figures appearing on the wall. Ayase Aoi acknowledges the explanation about dungeons and lost faith, while Alir adds her own colorful commentary. Ayase Aoi warns them to proceed cautiously into the uncharted territory, expecting traps to be active. Alir asserts that Fuku's luck will prevent them from encountering many traps, and Fuku acknowledges his role in their fortune. Ayase Aoi and Fuku look on in shock as Alir lets out a loud scream. Alir cries out for help as Ayase Aoi and Fuku watch, seeing pink tentacles begin to entangle her. Alir is painfully entangled and held captive by numerous pink tentacles. The tentacles emerge from a mimic, a dangerous monster disguised as a treasure chest with a high danger level. Ayase Aoi warns Fuku that the mimic digests its victims entirely, shocking Fuku with its danger. Ayase Aoi shrieks as she too is seized by a tentacle, reaching out desperately. Both Alir and Ayase Aoi are now ensnared by the mimic, screaming for Fuku to save them. Fuku, armed with his sword, charges forward to rescue Ayase Aoi and Alir from the mimic. Fuku courageously strikes the mimic with his sword, attacking the monstrous chest. The mimic is struck, its tentacles recoiling as it converts back to a wooden chest, defeated. The mimic's tentacles violently retract and disintegrate, signifying its defeat. The mimic's remnants shrivel on the ground, leaving behind a shriveled mass. Fuku rushes over to the fallen Ayase Aoi and Alir, anxiously checking if they are all right. Ayase Aoi and Ale express profound relief and gratitude to Fuku, confirming they are alive after the terrifying ordeal. Alir, recovering from her scare, acknowledges the terror she experienced while Fuku calmly assures her. Fuku notices a sparkling object inside the defeated mimic's chest, drawing his attention. Fuku holds up a golden key, asking Alir what it is and what purpose it serves. The two observing men conclude that following the group was indeed a worthwhile endeavor. Fuku confronts the unexpected intruders, loudly demanding to know their identities. The intruders seize Ayase Aoi, demanding Fuku hand over the key he found, threatening harm if he resists. Ayase Aoi, distressed, calls out Fuku's name as she is held captive by one of the men. Fuku clenches his fist and crackling blue energy of luck surrounds it, signifying his readiness to fight. Fuku gazes at his glowing hand, recognizing the immense power of luck now flowing through him. Fuku hesitates, realizing that unleashing his power might inadvertently endanger Ayase Aoi as well. A bloody hand symbolizes the danger of his power, implying Ayase Aoi could be caught in a negative rebound if he uses his extreme luck. The group screams "Wah!" as they plummet into a glowing, dark abyss. Ayase Aoi strains, hanging from a ledge and reaching down to grasp Fuku's hand. Alir cries out in pain, warning Fuku that he is falling. Alir helplessly looks down as Fuku continues to fall into the dark chasm below. Wah! A prolonged, terrified scream echoes through the void. Ayase Aoi lies injured amidst the rubble, groaning softly. Ayase Aoi, now recovering, anxiously asks if Alir and Fuku are safe. Ayase Aoi tightly embraces Fuku, reassuring him of her presence, much to his overwhelmed surprise. Ayase Aoi, blushing, holds Fuku in a very close and awkward embrace. The area is completely devastated, filled with shattered rubble and debris from their fall. Alir suggests assessing their situation, but first asks about any injuries. Fuku, lying on the ground, insists he is fine despite obvious pain as the others watch. A luminous blue symbol glows in the darkness, hinting at an unseen power. Alir observes that they are unable to return the way they came. Fuku anxiously asks about the fate of the other people who fell with them. The defeated man lies motionless as they acknowledge treasure fights are common, but this attack was unexpected. Fuku looks confused, asking if this plain area truly is the treasure. Ayase Aoi observes a glowing treasure chest, remarking it looks plain for a treasure chamber. Ayase Aoi declares there is no time to rest, urging them forward. Alir rushes forward impulsively, displaying an eager, energetic demeanor. Ayase Aoi sighs, noting Alir's unchanging nature, as Fuku warns of potential traps. Alir confidently strides forward, appearing unconcerned by warnings of traps. Alir is suddenly caught by a trap, letting out a sharp scream. Alir screams, "Gah!" as she remains ensnared by the trap. Ayase Aoi narrowly avoids a trap that sparks on the ground, startling Fuku. Ayase Aoi questions a strange sound, and Fuku expresses a truly bad feeling about the situation. A dark, spreading mass on the floor produces shadowy, insect-like figures. Numerous large, red-eyed insect monsters swarm out, charging to attack. Fuku and Ayase Aoi recoil in wide-eyed horror at the sight of the monsters. The group screams, "Ooh!" as monsters attack, with Fuku shielding Alir and Ayase Aoi. The group huddles, Alir explaining her trap-triggering habit when Fuku's not nearby, leading them here. Alir, carried by Fuku, states they barely escaped and now fully rely on Fuku's luck. Ayase Aoi apologizes to Fuku for the predicament and relying on his luck. Fuku asks Alir why dungeons are so incredibly dangerous. Fuku remarks on the rare chance to ask a god, and Alir beams at being called reliable. Alir reacts with flattered surprise, questioning if she was truly called Alir-sama. Alir agrees with Fuku, declaring she will personally explain everything. Alir explains dungeons are about trials and blessings, puzzling Ayase Aoi. An ancient scene depicts humans receiving trials from gods, earning blessings for overcoming them. The scene shows humans respecting and thanking the gods for their love and occasional punishments. Dungeons were created by the gods to help humans remember their faith. Fuku and Ayase Eri express surprise, realizing they never knew the true reason for dungeons. Alir reveals her personal desire not to be forgotten by humanity. Alir, Fuku, and Ayase Aoi run, with Alir urging them to find the treasure and escape. Fuku questions how they will actually manage to get out of the dungeon. Ayase Aoi agrees, noting the dungeon is getting darker, increasing the unease. Fuku, carrying Alir, observes ghostly figures and floating books in the dim dungeon. Fuku continues to carry Alir, walking alongside Ayase Aoi through the dungeon. Ayase Aoi winks, teasing Fuku about his earlier fear, dismissing the mimic as just rubble. Alir, looking pale, declares this a sacred dungeon, while Ayase Aoi expresses concern over Alir's appearance. Ayase Aoi and Fuku worry as Alir, still carried by Fuku, weakly pleads for help. Alir screams in pain, reporting that something emerged and her neck is injured as Fuku holds her. Ayase Aoi halts the group, noting they hear a human voice suggesting it might be another adventurer. They look towards a glowing blue birdcage, where a voice faintly calls out for someone. The previously encountered captor, now trapped within the glowing cage, desperately screams for them to free him. The group observes the large, glowing cage hanging by chains in the dungeon, questioning its purpose. Ayase Aoi offers to disarm the cage, but the man inside insists it's not a trap, revealing the dungeon's god imprisoned him. The caged man explains that a comrade went to find the key to release him. Fuku realizes that the people they previously fought were trying to rescue their imprisoned comrade. The flashback shows the captor from earlier, explaining his mission to help his comrade while holding Ayase Aoi. Fuku asks about the safety of the other people who fell, but the caged man replies they don't know and suggests they escape first. A new authoritative voice interjects, declaring that finding the others would be a problem. A new character, a short, pink-haired woman with elf ears, floats into view, referring to the caged people as her precious followers. A display identifies the floating woman as Via, the great god administrator of the Iron Labyrinth, and God of the Path, ranked 45. Alir asks who the newcomer is, while Via disdainfully calls Alir useless and washed up. The man in the cage responds deferentially to Via's presence. Via, in a grand chamber, dismisses trials as pointless hassles and farces, stating that gods only need faith, not trials, from Alir. Via conjures glowing chains, screaming, "Ooh-ah!" demonstrating her power. Via explains her strategy. She allows some to escape and spread rumors, drawing more people to her. Via continues, explaining she captures others to concentrate their faith, asserting there's no shortage of fools lured by treasure. Via smirks, calling her method efficient and inviting Alir to emulate it. Alir indignantly questions if this is truly a dungeon, arguing faith should be nurtured, not exploited. Via condescendingly calls Alir too naive, claiming it is more efficient to trap and force humans. Via asserts that she is directly using the humans for her own purposes. Via reminds Alir that her soft and sweet approach led to her loss against the god of probability and a drop in rank. Via claims that modern gods prioritize systems and efficiency, contrasting it with Alir's outdated ideas. Via concludes her taunt, stating that a god like Alir, who cannot generate income, holds no value. A past memory shows Fuku being verbally abused by a man demanding income, while Alir looks on distressed. Alir weeps in distress, recalling past Fuku's pain from being deemed worthless, connecting to Via's cruel words. Fuku, now defiant, acknowledges Alir might not be the most capable, but is about to make a stand. Fuku is enveloped in a blue aura, protecting Alir, and fiercely declares he won't let anyone mess with his goddess. Fuku glares, his eyes glowing blue, as he vehemently warns Via not to mess with his goddess. Alir, surprised and touched, softly calls out Fuku's name. Via, with a sinister smile, reminds Fuku that he has forgotten something crucial, This dungeon belongs to her. A massive robotic Minotaur guardian activates within the dungeon, observed on the system's green monitor showing the group. The monstrous Minotaur screams, its mechanical jaw open wide, as it lunges with glowing red energy. Fuku prepares to face the enormous Minotaur, revealed as the trial of the god of the path. The Minotaur lets out a roarg as its massive form fills the chamber. The Minotaur, glowing red, charges forward with its mouth open, ready to attack. Fuku stands resolute as the giant Minotaur swings its massive axe towards him. Ayase Aoi watches nervously, an evaluation prompt appearing, signaling a critical assessment. The Minotaur roars again, its body pulsating with red energy, menacingly. A data screen displays Minotaur Ver.4.6, the guardian of the Great Iron Labyrinth, modified by Via with danger level S. Ayase Aoi observes the formidable Minotaur, realizing it might be too powerful, even for Fuku's extraordinary luck. Fuku stands his ground, enveloped in a blue aura, as the Minotaur raises its immense axe above him. Ayase Aoi questions if Fuku can win with just luck as he faces the massive Minotaur, armed only with a small knife. Fuku's eyes glow with fierce determination, ready to confront the powerful Minotaur. The Minotaur's powerful strike sends Fuku flying with a boom! The Minotaur looks down into the dust created by its devastating attack, showing the aftermath. Fuku lies on the ground after the Minotaur's powerful strike, while Vaya watches from above. A warning system displays Fuku's increasing heart rate, detecting his hostility but no skills, questioning if he is an energy entity. Caution required. Fuku screams in pain, engulfed in the Minotaur's devastating red energy attack. Fuku, severely injured, struggles to force himself right as the Minotaur's energy continues to assault him. Fuku, gritting his teeth, attempts to evade the sweeping energy by moving left as the ground fractures around him. Fuku yells to himself to move right, again narrowly dodging another explosive burst of energy. Fuku collapses, battered and bruised, as the Minotaur's destructive energy recedes from the impact site. Via floats upside down, commenting that Fuku is an interesting kid, despite his current state. Via continues her assessment, noting Fuku's weak gear, frail body, and apparent lack of combat experience. Via concludes Fuku hasn't lived through extreme situations, yet persists surprisingly. Fuku, bruised and gasping, looks up, acknowledging Via's observations. Via observes Fuku intently, pondering if his actions are truly a result of luck. Via, with a sinister smile, asserts that Fuku doesn't dodge by luck, but rather by instinct. Alir cries out Fuku's name in distress from her cage, witnessing his struggle. Fuku is launched through the air by a powerful impact, crashing violently into the dungeon floor. Fuku struggles to stand, realizing he could dodge if only one attack landed, but not the continuous barrage. Fuku resolves that he has no choice but to act efficiently, as glowing energy surrounds his hand. The Minotaur roars, its axe glowing red, towering over Fuku, ready to strike again. The Minotaur unleashes a colossal red energy blast, causing a tremendous boom that shakes the chamber. Fuku reacts with wide-eyed shock, realizing the next one is about to hit him. Ayase Aoi desperately yells at Fuku to run from within her cage. Via smiles eerily, seemingly guiding Fuku with her command, "Guide me." A large, glowing golden ring-like structure pulsates with energy, indicating a shift in the dungeon's mechanisms. Pink and purple energy swirls, manifesting new threats in the chamber. Fuku looks on in surprise, realizing that the attack's trajectory changed. Fuku throws his arms up, bracing himself for the imminent, newly directed attack. A vibrant blue defensive shield materializes, blocking the Minotaur's axe with a powerful impact. Ayase Aoi watches in horror as the protective barrier shatters from the overwhelming force. Fuku shields Ayase Aoi, taking the blow himself, and yells her name in warning. Fuku collapses with a pained "Gah!" clutching his leg, which is bleeding profusely from the impact. Via observes Fuku's injury with surprise, noting he should have been able to dodge it. Fuku apologizes for not being strong enough, while Alir weeps, questioning why. Alir sheds tears of distress, gripping the bars of her cage in anguish. Fuku's hand grips his small knife tightly, as it glows with a determined aura. Ayase Aoi, concerned, urges Fuku to retreat for now from the menacing Minotaur. Fuku stands, head bowed and injured, with Alir and Ayase Aoi trapped behind him. Alir, wide-eyed and shocked, asks Fuku what he intends to do next as blue energy crackles around him. Fuku reassures them with a confident, "It's okay," facing the massive Minotaur. Fuku reveals he has already called for reinforcements, implying a shift in strategy. Fuku's eyes glow fiercely blue, his resolve hardening as he prepares for what's to come. The ground vibrates with heavy impacts, signaling the arrival of the reinforcements. A massive boom reverberates through the chamber, marking the dramatic entry of new forces. The Minotaur is caught off guard as new figures, glowing with blue energy, appear behind Fuku and charge into battle. The newly arrived combatants clash with the Minotaur, creating a chaotic explosion of energy. Fuku stands watching as his new allies engage the Minotaur in a fierce battle. Shield-wielding goblins charge forward, forming a protective line around Fuku. A system display identifies them as Shield Goblin, with a low danger level D, specializing in defensive charges. Fuku is surrounded by a throng of goblins and orcs, revealed to be under his control as the tribal chief's emblem. Via observes the scene, remarking that Fuku surprisingly controls low-level monsters. An assassin goblin is introduced, a stealthy monster specialized in ambush with a danger level C. A small, pink-haired figure confronts a large green monster. The green monster is enveloped in a burst of chaotic pink and purple energy. Lear looks surprised and distressed, while Fuku holds the glowing tribal chief's emblem, both reacting to the unfolding chaos. The Minotaur observes the battle, acknowledging Fuku's strategic use of numerical superiority. The Minotaur's mechanical arm crackles with energy, preparing to fire its weapon. Via stands casually beside the Minotaur, which is transformed into a massive, heavily armed mechanical monster. The transformed Minotaur powers up, its mechanical body glowing intensely with red energy. Fuku looks concerned as his shield goblins huddle protectively in front of him, expressing fear. The Minotaur unleashes a barrage of red energy blasts, impacting the line of goblins. The Minotaur's mechanical weapon glows with fierce red energy as it continues its assault. Fuku watches from behind his goblin shields as the Minotaur's attacks explode around them. A goblin falls, its armored form pierced by a red energy blade, indicating a fierce blow. Fuku stands with a pained expression, splattered with purple energy, observing the ongoing battle. Via proposes a deal to Fuku, expressing her unexpected interest in him. Via reveals her condition. Fuku must offer his faith to her instead of Alir from now on. Via offers to release Alir if Fuku agrees to come with her, as Alir lies unconscious nearby. Fuku slowly walks towards Alir's unconscious form, considering the difficult choice. Fuku kneels beside Alir, murmuring her name with deep concern. Fuku's hand glows with blue energy as he realizes he is becoming accustomed to wielding this form of luck. Alir looks surprised, while Fuku wonders if his luck can truly defeat the Minotaur, acknowledging his debt to her. Fuku directly asks Alir if the power she bestowed upon him is sufficient to overcome the monster. Alir's expression shows a mix of determination and intense emotion as Fuku awaits her answer. Alir points forward, with a confident, almost mischievous smile, ready to guide Fuku. Alir asserts her guarantee of his luck, confidently urging Fuku to crush the Minotaur. Fuku reacts with a determined shout, his body crackling with renewed blue energy. The Minotaur aims its massive cannon, charging a powerful red energy blast. Fuku charges forward as a blue blur, directly confronting the Minotaur's attack. Fuku unleashes a powerful blue energy attack with a fierce expression. The Minotaur's cannon begins to glow with blue energy, indicating Fuku's manipulation of its attack. Via looks surprised, observing that the Minotaur's weapon has become stuck. Via declares she possesses other methods, despite the weapon malfunction, as the Minotaur reveals additional missile launchers. Fuku reacts with surprise, realizing the Minotaur is now launching missiles. Fuku maneuvers quickly around the Minotaur's feet, his movements enhanced by blue energy, utilizing his goblin allies. Fuku engages the Minotaur in close combat, declaring it an all-or-nothing situation as goblins cheer him on. Via commands the transformed Minotaur to focus its attacks on Fuku, unleashing a torrent of red energy. Fuku manipulates the incoming red energy, guiding its trajectory with his blue power. Fuku shouts, "Now!" unleashing a concentrated burst of blue energy. Fuku initiates a shield charge, surrounded by intense blue energy, impacting the Minotaur directly. Via looks on in horror, realizing Fuku's drastic self-destructive plan. Fuku, engulfed in blue energy, crashes into the Minotaur, creating a powerful impact. A massive explosion erupts as Fuku's attack connects with the Minotaur, filling the chamber with chaotic energy. Via gasps in realization, understanding Fuku's intention to self-destruct is part of his strategy. Fuku, surrounded by swirling energy, reflects on the true meaning of betting it all on luck. A colossal explosion erupts, engulfing the Minotaur and the entire chamber in a fiery blast. The immense explosion continues to rage, consuming the Minotaur in a blinding inferno. Fuku is caught in the devastating explosion, along with Via and shattered debris from the chamber. Narrative text describes Via as a god who guides the lost, but suggests a deeper, more manipulative nature beneath the appealing description. Via smiles contentedly as delicate flower petals fall around her, suggesting a serene yet possibly sinister reflection on events. Via, in traditional attire, observes two small travelers from above, reinforcing her role as a watchful, guiding deity. Via reflects on her true identity, a serene deity amidst a bamboo grove, watching tiny travelers in a peaceful setting. Her former role became obsolete as machines replaced her, leaving the crying deity statue feeling unneeded in a desolate, dark world. Via casually observes modern city dwellers from above, highlighting her supernatural presence in a mundane world. A close-up of Via reveals her deep-seated fear of being forgotten, underscoring her primary motivation. Via looks surprised as she observes a person engrossed in their phone, perhaps noting humanity's shift in focus. Via expresses her capability to provide efficiency if that is what is sought, hinting at her desire for relevance. Alir lies unconscious on the shattered ground after the explosion, a faint pink aura around her as a thought echoes. Fuku looks exhausted, standing over the defeated Minotaur's remains, while Alir lies unconscious further back. Fuku stands triumphant but injured atop the fallen Minotaur, a powerful crackle echoing his victory. Crack! The broken Minotaur lies defeated, its destruction emphasized by a sharp crackle. Crack! Fuku drifts in the air, and someone, likely Alir, urgently calls out his name. Alir, now awake, embraces an injured Fuku, her expression a mix of concern and relief. Alir questions Fuku about his reckless actions, while Fuku addresses her respectfully. Alir, still holding Fuku, expresses her shock and concern over his crazy, self-sacrificing attack. Fuku, bruised but smiling, triumphantly declares his defeat of the Minotaur as Alir holds him close. Pant! Fuku apologizes for his drastic actions, explaining he had no other option, while other figures are visible in the background. Fuku, though injured, plans for a rest before heading to the guild, with the woman in green nearby. Via lies injured on the ground, subtly stirring as her hand glows with faint purple energy. Wah! Alir gasps in surprise and alarm, reacting to something off-screen, possibly Via's awakening. Via, surrounded by her followers, confronts a man wielding a sword, creating a tense standoff. Via expresses her frustration, wishing someone wasn't present to complicate the situation. Crack! Via angrily yells at the man, wishing he wasn't there, and commands him to stop. Bam! Via cries out in pain, clutching her arm as the man with the sword stands menacingly over her. Shing! Fuku and the man with the sword stare each other down, Fuku looking angry while the man appears confrontational. Pant! The man demands to know why Via won't release him and insists she stop Fuku, who is also present. Bam! The man aggressively explains their 3-week imprisonment and his need for vengeance, while Fuku firmly rejects his demands. Bam! Fuku's body crackles with blue energy, signifying a resurgence of his power as he stares determinedly. Crackle! The man reacts with shock, calling out a partial name as Fuku's blue energy intensifies. Bam! In a flashback or memory, a younger Via gently advises a small child in a peaceful forest not to venture alone. Whoosh! The happy child thanks God, looking up at Via, who is subtly present in the serene forest. Pop! The flashback continues with a younger Via smiling gently, observing the grateful child from a distance. Whoosh! In a peaceful memory, a mother and child greet Alir warmly as she emerges from the woods. Alir smiles, gently holding a single flower, a picture of innocence and tranquility. Back in the present, a battered and tearful Alir struggles to form her words. Sometime later, Fuku stands awkwardly before his comrades, insisting he's not good with this kind of attention. A man in the group demands confirmation that everyone is safe, his face a mask of worry. He sternly warns Fuku against ever being so reckless again, prompting a quiet apology from the boy. Alir, overcome with emotion, now stands before Fuku, sobbing and apologizing for what he went through. Fuku nervously tries to comfort her, promising it's fine, and asking her to agree not to repeat her actions. Wah! His words only make her cry harder, leaving him completely bewildered by her reaction. Elsewhere, Via gestures with exasperation, while a woman with blue-streaked hair listens with a calm smile. The scene then transitions to a modern building as party poppers burst in celebration. Banners fly as the celebration is revealed to be for Fuku ranking up. A lively party is in full swing, with Fuku on a small stage beside Via and the other woman. Wearing a party hat and star-shaped glasses, Fuku awkwardly thanks the cheering crowd. Fuku quietly admits that this is the first time anyone besides his family has congratulated him. Just then, the blue-haired woman arrives with a towering cake, declaring it will be a great day. Fuku expresses concern for the injured woman, Aoi, as she struggles with the massive cake. Ugh! Aoi grunts in pain as her wound acts up, causing the giant cake to topple. Aoi struggles to hold the large celebratory cake, her face showing pain as it begins to slip, threatening to crash. Crash! Aoi falls, losing her grip on the enormous cake, while Fuku reacts with a look of surprise and concern. Via watches in wide-eyed surprise as the massive cake tumbles down in a chaotic, celebratory scene. Fuku swiftly catches Aoi, preventing her from falling further, as the large cake crashes and shatters on the floor. Fuku, wearing an MVP badge, gently scolds Aoi, urging her to be more careful and rest due to her visible injuries. Aoi blushes and quietly acknowledges Fuku's concern as a comforting hand rests on her head. The party hall, adorned with festive decorations, is shown with a pair of star-shaped glasses lying on the floor, indicating a moment of pause in the celebration. Alir proudly presents the guiding sword Ariadne, its blade glowing with power, as Fuku looks on with a mix of awe and excitement. Via leans back in amusement, playfully boasting that her clan leader's trial is far more impressive, wondering why Fuku even tries to compete. A woman in the background smugly asserts her higher class, expressing relief at not becoming Fuku's subordinate. Via grabs Fuku's arm, her eyes sharp and fangs visible, demandingly questioning his identity. A masked man with glowing red eyes introduces himself as Director Tominaga of the Adventurers Guild, Tokyo branch, apologizing for the belated introduction. An unseen person congratulates Director Tominaga on a job well done, his silhouette barely visible in the background. The wide view of the party shows Director Tominaga's presence among the group, while other attendees respectfully bow. Director Tominaga enthusiastically declares that energy is paramount for an adventurer, surprising Fuku with his intense demeanor. Director Tominaga leans in closely, commending Fuku as truly amazing. Fuku tries to thank the director but stops abruptly, expressing shock and confusion about why someone of his stature is present. Director Tominaga gently offers his hand to Fuku, seemingly attempting to shake hands or offer a gesture of respect. Fuku receives his official Adventurers Guild ID card, bearing the name Kamasaki Fukutaro, and is clearly impressed by it. Fuku, holding his new ID card, questions its low E rank with a look of surprise. Director Tominaga explains that, despite the card's E rank, Fuku's true potential is C rank, suggesting the rules are restrictive. Director Tominaga encourages Fuku to keep striving, expressing his anticipation for Fuku's next rank up. An armored man enthusiastically praises Fuku for the incredible feat of conquering an unexplored dungeon in a single day. Fuku stands surrounded by smiling, armored men who loudly celebrate his amazing accomplishment, looking overwhelmed by their praise. Alir credits her own grace for Fuku's survival, with only minor injuries after the explosion, addressing a small crowd. While eating, Via subtly advises Alir that this is a prime opportunity to gain more followers. Via triumphantly declares that with her power of luck, she can save everyone regardless of the enemy's strength, though she adds a hesitant probably. The crowd raises their drinks, enthusiastically cheering for both the goddess of luck and Fuku. Fuku observes Via and Alir, noting Via is getting carried away with her boasting again. An armored man approaches Fuku, saying he wants to ask him something based on his luck. The armored man assures Fuku there will be a reward for his help, and the task will not be difficult. Via enthusiastically agrees to the task, stating that Fuku's increasing fame would also please his goddess. The armored man declares, "Time is money," and urges Fuku to immediately depart for the new mission. A red outline text warns that someone from their group has already stuck their nose in, hinting at a dangerous situation, accompanied by a close-up of a monstrous jaw. 3 women are seen with a large, beast-like figure in sunglasses and gold chains, as the text ominously states this is going to be setting the scene for an impending challenge. Via, looking flushed and happy, revels in the appreciation of the crowd, believing everyone values her greatly. A tearful Via sincerely thanks Fuku, attributing all the current appreciation she is receiving to him. Via, with a dazzling smile, poses confidently, seemingly basking in her newfound popularity. Alir, observing Via's distress, reveals that Fukutaro recently went off with those shiny guys, implying Via's jealousy or concern. Via gazes in awe at a luxurious building with a swimming pool, exclaiming in surprise. An older woman tells Fuku he has finally found something that had been lost for 220 years, with a man holding an umbrella nearby. The armored men cheer wildly and praise Fuku for his impressive accomplishment, while he stands modestly beside the older woman. An armored man excitedly declares Fuku's recent actions were awesome. Fuku humbly dismisses the praise, stating it was nothing, while the armored men continue their enthusiastic celebration. Fuku, still modest, insists there's no need to thank him, as an armored man places a hand on his shoulder. The armored man firmly tells Fuku not to be shy, insisting that accepting such gestures is simply good manners. Fuku looks surprised, letting out a small sound of realization or slight discomfort. The scene shifts to a city building, with text indicating that a small percentage is charged for brokering services, signaling the start of financial transactions. Fuku is presented with a large stack of money, identified as his share, and appears visibly surprised by the amount. Fuku recoils from the large sum of money, protesting that he cannot accept so much. One of the armored men reminds Fuku that they had promised him a reward. The armored man, revealed as Kawada the Tank, a believer in the god of money Mercator, stands proudly. The armored men, including Yoshida the Sniper and Yamada the Swordsman, explain that accepting gratitude for good deeds is natural and merely, quote, gratitude taking shape. Fuku, holding the money, questions if it is truly acceptable to receive such an easy payment. Fuku admits he is only accustomed to earning rewards through official guild missions. Surrounded by money, the armored men, with a lucky cat figure, confidently state they have a knack for finding such profitable ventures. An armored man enthusiastically shakes Fuku's hand, urging them to win big together and thanking him in advance. Alir looks away, seemingly annoyed, while a companion asks if it is truly all right to withhold information from Fuku. Golden money notes drift through a sparkling void, accompanied by a hesitant thought wondering if everything will truly be okay. Fuku, wearing dog ears, receives a contract from an old man who says he looks like his puppy, causing Fuku to express his thanks. Fuku and the armored men watch a man at his computer, astonished by the unexpected surge in a company's stock. Money rains down as a man celebrates making a huge fortune, laughing triumphantly. A video shows a man noting the overwhelming views and gratitude, while more money implies Fuku is being lauded as a god for his contributions. Two armored men gleefully count their immense earnings, one exclaiming that they have too much money to even know how to spend it. The scene focuses on an armored person's golden boot, suggesting a moment of pause or transition as Fuku stands nearby. An armored man presents Fukutaro with yet another share of money, adding that a generous bonus was included. Fuku, still holding money, protests the continued payments, asserting that he is the one who is learning and benefiting from them. Fuku appears thoughtful as two miniature figures, one of Alir, observe him, while an armored man places a hand on his shoulder. Via, in chibi form, fumes angrily, clenching her fist and loudly declaring that Fukutaro is her servant. The armored men suggest going to a casino for training to gain more experience and skill in making money. A small, tearful girl with scraped knees, holding a flyer, explains she came because she saw it. The armored man reacts with sympathy as the crying girl explains that Mary-chan is her lost kitty. The armored man, holding a stack of money, smiles at the distressed girl and asks her how much she can pay. The girl looks distraught as she tearfully admits she does not have any money. The armored man initially appears to dismiss the need for money to help the girl, then abruptly states he, quote, can do without it, causing Fuku to look confused. The armored man sternly explains to a surprised Fuku that his valuable luck cannot simply be given away for free. Ooh, the little girl desperately cries out, pleading for help to find Mary-chan. Kya! The girl is forcefully pulled away, dropping her flyer, which then flutters to the ground. The armored man stands dismissively with crossed arms as Fuku looks shocked, and the little girl cries on the ground. The armored man coldly states that finding Mary is a paid job, and if she has no money, she should go home. An armored man pulls Fuku away, urging him to come along, despite Fuku's protests. The armored men continue to drag Fuku away, suggesting they go celebrate with amazing women, ignoring his resistance. Via glares with fangs showing, angered by the armored men's cruelty as they pull Fuku away from the crying girl. Alir suddenly stands up, surprising Via, who questions her sudden movement. An armored man holds Fuku, who looks back with concern and calls out, Aoi-san? Aoi stands resolute in the distance, facing the group of armored men, Fuku, and the crying girl with a cat and dog nearby. An armored man recognizes Aoi as one of the mistress' companions and politely asks if she has a request. Pa, an armored man is sent flying high into the sky, surrounded by a red glow. Aoi stands empowered by a blue glow, having launched the armored man into the air with her strength. One of the armored men is knocked face down onto the ground, stunning Fuku and the others. Aoi kneels to comfort the crying girl, stating that while making money is fine, she witnessed everything that transpired. Fuku is left speechless, utterly shocked by the turn of events. An armored man's face contorts in anger, thinking that the woman must be silenced. Another armored man's expression turns grim, signifying dangerous intent. Aoi prepares to fight the armored men, who glow with power, as one questions her intent to fight believers of the god of money. An armored man questions Fuku's hesitation, asking what is wrong with using one's abilities to make money, while Fuku looks conflicted. Fuku, holding the money, apologizes to everyone and declares he will return the money they earned, as Aoi and the girl watch. An armored man looks shocked, questioning Fuku's decision to return the money. Okay, I see a hand holding a thick stack of money that is glowing with light. Fuku looks determined, telling the armored man that he refuses to sell his heart. Kawada the tank looks distraught and confused, questioning Fuku's rejection of the money. Fuku runs towards Aoi and the crying girl, profusely apologizing for causing Aoi worry. Aoi blushes slightly, expressing her trust in Fuku, believing he won't change despite gaining luck. Aoi takes the lead, declaring they will look for Mary-chan, while Fuku asks the girl if she knows where the cat might be. An angry armored man yells to stop them, as Aoi and Fuku stand protectively with the small girl. Another armored man, holding a golden weapon, expresses outrage at Fuku for embarrassing them and simply leaving. The angry armored man complains about losing their good gold mine, and disrespectfully calls Aoi the servant of some second-rate goddess. The armored man threatens that he will report Aoi's interference to Mercator. A powerful, shadowy figure looms behind the armored man, who stammers in shock as a voice questions his intentions. The imposing figure is revealed to be the god of money, Mercator, a giant, fluffy cat wearing sunglasses and a gold chain, ranked 9. The armored man is shocked, realizing the massive cat is Mercator, while Fuku and Aoi are astonished by Mercator's colossal size. The armored man sweats profusely, looking utterly terrified as he faces Mercator. Mercator declares it's the perfect time to teach the armored men a lesson, surprising Fuku and Aoi with a surge of power. Mercator, appearing annoyed, delivers a powerful blow, causing a red energy burst as he stands against the armored men. Boom! Mercator sends an armored man flying with a powerful strike, leaving him bloody and defeated. Mercator unleashes a devastating attack, causing a fiery explosion that knocks down multiple armored men. A loud impact reverberates as the armored men are violently thrown to the ground by Mercator's force. 2 armored men lie stunned and defeated on the ground, staring up in disbelief at Mercator. A close-up shows a bloodied and dazed armored man lying on the ground, severely injured by the attack. Wah! The injured armored man cries out apologies, while Mercator dismisses him for not understanding what it means to be a real man. The tearful little girl joyfully hugs the giant Mercator, revealing him to be her lost pet, Mary-chan. Fuku and Aoi are stunned, watching the girl embrace Mercator, who casually apologizes for worrying them. Mercator, now in his giant cat form, scolds Fuku and Aoi for causing trouble, leaving Fuku visibly scared. A thought bubble reveals Mercator's human form, stating that the incident was a good lesson for the armored men, and Fuku and Aoi should apologize. Mercator, as the giant cat, asserts that if he could, he would make real men like Fuku his servants. Via fumes with jealousy in chibi form, while Mercator, sensing her anger, decides to leave quickly, remarking on a woman's jealousy. Fuku and Aoi look confused and surprised, questioning Mercator's sudden and swift departure. The small girl rests comfortably against the purring Mercator, who gazes contentedly. The scene shifts to a large gathering in a dark, high-tech room, where various individuals, including Mercator, observe a central projection. Mercator addresses the assembled teams, including Kuzaki Fukutara's believers, Ayase Aoi's believers, and Alea, goddess of luck, stating a serious reason for their gathering. Mercator, the god of money, is introduced alongside his believers, Kawada, Yoshida, and Yamada, standing confidently in their armored gear. Tominaga Metsuru, the head of the Tokyo branch of the Adventurers Guild, is introduced, seated beside a woman with prominent features. A holographic map of a large, complex dungeon environment is projected, displaying critical points and an unknown central area. Detailed data for the International High Difficulty Dungeon Concrete Jungle is displayed, highlighting its unknown danger level and a dire 10% estimated survival rate. A guild member in the audience comments on the dungeon's massive estimated size of 11 kilometers squared, questioning its scale. Tominaga Mitsuru apologizes for outdated information, clarifying that the dungeon's size has expanded beyond last week's data. The updated dungeon size is revealed to be approximately 34 square kilometers, shocking Fuku, Alir, and Aioi, as it covers an entire city ward. Tominaga Mitsuru explains that if left unchecked, the dungeon will engulf the entire Japanese archipelago in 3 months, necessitating experienced adventurers. The imposing entrance to the concrete jungle is shown, a massive root system forming a natural gateway leading to a modern city. A beautiful goddess, adorned with flowers, expresses sincere gratitude for the adventurers accepting the challenging mission. The goddess continues to convey her profound thankfulness to the assembled adventurers. The goddess is identified as Argel, the concrete jungle administrative goddess and goddess of fertility, ranked number 12. Tominaga Mitsuru states he will submit his report, as Argel smiles warmly at Fuku and the other adventurers. Argel innocently reveals that she was watering a small tree every day, intending to create a new dungeon. Argel explains that the tree grew unexpectedly fast, showing its rapid transformation from a small sprout into a giant, complex structure. Via furiously yells at Argel, blaming her for the rapid expansion of the dungeon. Mercator apologizes to the enraged Via, while Fuku tries to placate her. Mercator, looking wise in his sunglasses, profoundly declares that a man has neither yesterday nor tomorrow, only today. Mercator concludes that if they can resolve the issue with the original tree, everything will be fine, while Fuku expresses doubt about the guild's plan. A woman points to a massive dungeon map, emphasizing its vastness from the start point to the goal. The fun dungeon fact explains that well-managed dungeons have supply points, a concept Fuku was unaware of due to his bad luck. Aoi observes a distraught Via, asking if she's also entering the dungeon, to which Via reluctantly agrees despite her clear aversion. Via comically reveals she is forced into the dungeon due to a debt from losing a bet, in a censored scene of her embarrassing past. Mercator, in his giant cat form, wishes the departing group good luck as Fuku affirms their readiness. Mercator, in his large cat form, appears thoughtful and concerned, hinting at underlying issues. The three goddesses, Via, Argel, and another, laugh over their past scandals, including forced sales scam and supervision negligence, making Mercator question their constant troublemaking. The scene shows the interior of the concrete jungle dungeon, a modern city overtaken by massive roots and overgrown nature. A powerful surge of purple energy, labeled Guide, emanates from what appears to be a weapon. Powerful purple light floods the ruined city landscape, revealing Fuku and the goddesses standing amidst the glowing debris, guided by the energy. A close-up shows radiant purple energy flowing across the cracked ground, signifying intense power. Streaks of bright purple energy illuminate a rough, textured surface, indicating the pervasive magical presence. The guiding purple energy streaks through the dungeon's plant-infested city, leading the way. Fuku and Aoi are astonished by the immense power of the guide sword, as purple energy surrounds them. Fuku notes the difficult terrain and surprisingly low monster presence in the dungeon, while Via looks disoriented nearby. Fuku recoils in shock as a dark, whip-like tendril suddenly lashes out, nearly hitting him. Aoi attempts to reassure Fuku, claiming the alarming event was merely his imagination. Fuku nervously accepts Aoi's explanation, unaware that a dark tendril is subtly wrapping around her leg. Aoi corrects herself, stating it wasn't Fuku's imagination as the tendril wraps around his leg, revealing a hidden threat. The tendril is revealed to be part of a monstrous tree spirit with multiple eyes, which has ensnared Fuku and Aoi, while Via falls in the background. Fuku lets out an astonished gasp as the true terrifying form of the tree spirit becomes apparent. A text panel identifies the creature as a tree spirit, a normally peaceful plant-type beast that traps creatures for nutrients, with a danger level of C. Via screams in utter frustration, lamenting why she constantly finds herself in such predicament as the tree spirit ensnares her. Aoi bravely declares she will help Via, preparing a powerful, glowing attack against the tree spirit. Mercator transforms into a skeleton-like figure, crackling with yellow lightning, poised for a powerful attack against the monster. Mercator, in his skeletal form, unleashes a devastating blow, sending the tree spirit flying while impacting Fuku and Via. Wah! Fuku screams in pain, his body crackling with blue electricity as he desperately holds onto his guide sword. Fuku winces, his body still sparking with electricity as he kneels on the ground, clearly in pain from the impact. Aoi apologizes that her electric gun failed against the monster but worked wonders on Via, who lies defeated. Close-up shows Fuku's arm and leg pulsating with bright blue electricity, indicating a surge of power through his body. Fuku charges forward with determination, his body enveloped in crackling blue electricity, ready to strike. Fuku unleashes a powerful, electrifying attack, shouting as purple and blue energy bursts from him. Fuku's intense electrical and purple energy pierces the tree spirit's body, dealing a critical blow. Boom! Fuku's final attack shatters the tree spirit into pieces, causing a massive explosion of red energy. The defeated tree spirit is reduced to a withered husk amidst floating green leaves, signaling its demise. Aoi comments on Fuku's powerful, broken combo of luck, expressing relief that it ultimately succeeded despite being an all-or-nothing gamble. Via grumpily holds the Ariadne Guide Sword, described as blessed by the goddess of paths, with 100% accuracy and critical chance. Aoi ponders why a supposedly peaceful tree spirit would attack, prompting Fuku to look curious. Aoi excitedly holds up a glowing item, identifying it as a power nut, surprising Fuku and Via. A panel explains the power nut increases strength by 1 point when consumed. Fuku joyfully celebrates his find, but Via quickly interjects, stating it's useless for him to eat it. Via explains that Fuku's great reversal skill would cause him to lose strength if he consumed the power nut. Fuku nervously offers the power nut to Aoi, asking her to consume it instead. Aoi hesitates, knowing the item's high market value, but Fuku insists, stating it would be wasted on him. Fuku smiles kindly, explaining that Aoi always helps him. Fuku requests Aoi accept the power nut as a gift for an important companion, making her blush and appear touched. Via impatiently urges them to eat the nut and move on, while Aoi gently scolds her for rushing. Okay, I understand. Please provide the text you would like me to read back to you. Aoi moves cautiously through a dimly lit dungeon, observing another group being attacked by monsters ahead. Aoi reports that another group is under attack by monsters just up ahead. 2 women find the situation gross and boring, while Aoi insists they must help the attacked group immediately. One woman dismisses the idea of putting themselves in danger, telling the other to just go back to watching. The women laugh, comparing the situation to pearls before swine and justifying their inaction as opportunity gain. The purple-haired woman challenges Aoi, asking why she doesn't go help the group alone if she's so keen. Fuku clenches his fist in frustration. An abstract visual shifts the scene, reflecting a brewing internal conflict. Fuku looks upset, quietly disagreeing with the women's harsh words. Fuku recalls moments when others, including Aoi, supported him, realizing he is the one who has always been helped. Fuku smiles, remembering the kindness shown to him. Aoi watches the scene, feeling useless in comparison to Fuku. Fuku calls out to Aoi from a distance, prompting her to respond. Aoi starts running to join Fuku, declaring her intent to help. 3 armored men scheme to take credit for the dungeon clear and receive Mercator's blessing. The armored group observes Fuku's team, planning to let them do all the hard work for their own gain. Aoi smiles and blushes, surrounded by purple energy emanating from her chest. A heart-shaped object glows with intense purple energy, pulsating with power. Landscape indicates a moment of strained silence or intense effort. Fuku pants, exhausted, after a strenuous fight or journey. A dark, shadowy, rat-like creature dashes through the forest. A massive, one-eyed rat-like creature appears, letting out a loud cry. Aoi and Via scream in terror as the giant rat monster lunges at them. Fuku cries out, caught in the chaos of the monster's attack. The colossal rat monster moves with menacing speed, signifying its attack. Aoi and Via shriek, bewildered by the monster's sudden appearance and size. Fuku, crackling with electricity, angrily commands himself to attack the creature. Fuku's electric guide sword crackles with power as he prepares to strike. Fuku's electrified sword slices into the giant rat, causing it to cry out in pain. Fuku and Aoi stand over the impaled, defeated giant rat, while Via sits nearby. Fuku expresses disbelief at the existence of such monsters after their close call. Aoi, surprised, realizes the creature isn't a monster but something else, displaying an information panel. Aoi reveals the creature is merely a brown rat, hilariously describing its typical timid nature despite its monstrous size. Via and Fuku react with incredulity, questioning how a brown rat could be so colossal. Aoi hypothesizes that the dungeon's influence may have caused the local rats to grow aggressive and gigantic. Fuku wonders if docile tree spirits could also be affected, connecting the two strange occurrences. Fuku ponders if the dungeon is causing different species to become violent. Via realizes the dungeon might be affecting the entire ecosystem, as Aoi confirms the situation is troublesome. Fuku asks Aoi what's wrong, but she forces a smile and dismisses his concern. One of the armored men urges his team to hurry ahead, ready to advance. The armored group observes Fuku's party from a distance, following their trail. An armored man smirks, noting that Fuku's group is conveniently taking care of the monsters for them. The overgrown ruins of the concrete jungle dungeon are shown, with buildings reclaimed by nature. A moss-covered, abandoned car highlights the decaying, nature-infested landscape of the dungeon. Fuku looks astonished, realizing they've reached the dungeon's source. A vibrant green energy emanates, signifying the core of the dungeon. The group stands before the colossal dungeon sapling, the source of the concrete sea of trees. Fuku comments on the sapling's unexpected size, while Aoi explains it grows without water. Aoi prepares a device, stating their intent to quickly wither the sapling, to which Vaya agrees. A scroll reveals the quick wither is a guild-approved herbicide, warning of potential divine punishment unless a blessing ceremony is performed, as Fuku shouts for them to wait. Fuku expresses concern that their plan won't be simple after the warning about divine punishment. 4 giant brown rats charge forward, revealing a new wave of monstrous threats. 4 monstrous brown rats charge towards Fuku's group, prompting Fuku to ready his sword. Fuku grunts, struggling against a giant rat, while Via cries out his name. Aoi looks terrified, exclaiming that they will be wiped out if this continues. The armored man speaks from the dungeon's entrance, thanking his boss for guiding them this far. The armored men smirk, agreeing that they will take the tasty part of the dungeon clear. Aoi confronts the armored men, realizing they have been following them. One armored man casually replies they happen to take the same route, adding that the process doesn't matter for the clearing reward. Via glares fiercely, clearly enraged by the armored men's words. Via angrily yells at the armored men, calling them cowards. An armored man dismisses Via's insult, stating that, in dungeons, cleverness defines justice, while another agrees. A powerful force creates a bright flash, causing the armored man to question what's happening. A giant rat screams in pain as it is struck by a powerful, unseen attack. Fuku reacts with shock and asks what attacked the giant rat, as the armored men observe. Aoi cries out to Aaliyah, distressed, amidst the monster attack. A dark red energy violently erupts, radiating immense power. A giant rat writhes in agony as swirling red energy consumes it. Fuku covers his ears, troubled by a strange, unsettling sound. Aoi covers her ears, distressed, realizing the sapling itself is threatening them. Aoi's face contorts in pain as green energy pulses around her head. Aoi raises a hand towards the swirling red energy, appearing to channel or unleash power. A grotesque giant rat with red eyes and plant-like growth cries out in pain. The giant rat's body is grotesquely distorted and covered in red energy. The mutated giant rats shriek menacingly, engulfed in dark red aura. The armored men look increasingly uneasy and question if the situation is turning bad. The giant rat is violently impacted by an unseen force, its body crackling. The lead armored man yells in shock and pain as energy shatters around him. The armored men scream in terror as their armor seemingly disintegrates from a powerful impact. Via clings to Aoi, screaming in panic that the monsters are coming closer. Fuku cries out for Alea and Aoi, realizing he can't reach them in time to help. Vaya, impaled and bleeding, unleashes a powerful purple energy slash. Vaya is pierced by multiple dark tendrils, bleeding profusely, her face contorted in agony. Aoi is impaled by dark, bloody tendrils, her eyes glowing red as she appears possessed or in agony. Aoi, now looking demonic, violently strikes a giant rat with dark energy. A large brown rat lies grievously wounded, bleeding heavily from Aoi's attack. The enormous rat collapses, severely injured and bleeding, its defeat evident. A red, shadowy tendril or energy blast surges forward, impacting something unseen. Aoi laughs maniacally, covered in blood with glowing eyes, completely overcome by the dark power. Aoi continues her berserk attack, laughing as another giant rat is violently struck. Via watches Aoi in horror as Fuku stares in shocked disbelief. Fuku looks up in awe and dread as a monstrous, shadowy figure, presumably Aoi, looms above them. Via cries out Aaliyah's name in alarm as a red, chaotic explosion fills the air. The ragged armored men are astonished by Aoi's power, wondering what kind of skill she just used. Aoi unleashes another powerful, blood-splattered attack with glowing red energy. An armored man screams in terror as he is struck by a powerful, unseen blow. The remaining armored men recoil in abject fear, screaming at an unseen threat. Aoi continues to laugh maniacally, her eyes glowing red and body covered in blood, fully consumed. Fuku looks on in despair, realizing that Aoi has completely lost her sanity. Via appears deeply troubled, suspecting the power nut from earlier is the cause. Via explains that the seed inside Aoi has gained consciousness and is now controlling her body. Fuku looks distraught, realizing that attacking the controlling seed means harming Aoi's heart. Aoi, consumed by dark energy, stands in a desolate landscape as a thought bubble suggests she will surely lose her life. Via recalls with regret giving Aoi the seed, blaming herself for the current predicament as past happy memories flash by. Via resolves to act, determined to find a way to save Aoi, her thoughts filled with concern. Fuku asks Aaliyah for a request, prompting a surprised reaction from her. Aoi laughs maniacally, blood-splattered and surrounded by dark tendrils. Aha! Fuku stands ready, crackling with blue energy, preparing to confront the distant, transformed Aoi. Fuku thinks of Aoi, reflecting on how she always extended her hand to help him, regardless of luck. Fuku's face contorts with fierce determination, surrounded by crackling blue energy, as he vows to save Aoi. Leah floats above, radiating power, observing the chaotic scene as the corrupted Aoi unleashes red energy attacks. Aaliyah roars, her eyes glowing red and blue, as golden energy surges around her. Surrounded by shimmering golden light and shattered ice, Aaliyah declares a fair wager in the name of Alba, Lord of Luck. A bright golden light bursts around a dark void, revealing that the stake of the wager is control of the body. Golden energy swirls as the players are named, Kanzaki Fukutaro and the unseen opponent. The corrupted Aoi reacts with shock and fury, realizing her opponent is the very seed possessing her. The golden light intensifies dramatically, signaling the beginning of a divine gamble. Aaliyah stands empowered by brilliant golden light, her form radiating immense divine power, initiating the gamble. Fuku, Aaliyah, and the corrupted Aoi stand on a shimmering, ethereal blue and green surface as the wager begins. Aaliyah urges Fuku to ensure his actions succeed, while Fuku expresses gratitude for her intervention. The corrupted Aoi screams in pain as a golden shard from the wager pierces her hand. The corrupted Aoi clutches her chest in agony, as a thought bubble reveals the seed is parasitizing her. Fuku observes the corrupted Aoi, considering that a careless attack might harm Aoi herself. A thought bubble explains that if the opponent is allowed to attack, Aoi might be harmed by the power of luck, as a bloodied hand is shown. Fuku looks determined, reaching for his weapon, ready to act on his decision. Aaliyah warns Fuku that the opponent is a mindless beast, incapable of engaging in a gamble or table game. Fuku draws his sword, stating grimly that he must proceed despite the inherent risks. Leah looks at Fuku with concern, calling his name softly. Leah sternly warns Fuku not to blame her for any consequences, as golden light bursts around them. Aaliyah's face shows fierce resolve, her eyes fixed and determined amidst crackling golden energy. Golden energy pulsates as the rules of the divine gamble are announced, a one-on-one showdown. The corrupted Aoi laughs maniacally, her face smeared with blood, eyes glowing red, and fangs bared. The corrupted Aoi's distorted laughter echoes, her red eyes gleaming with malevolence. Ahahaha. Fuku charges across the shimmering blue surface, sword drawn, confronting the corrupted Aoi. Fuku's body crackles with blue energy as he prepares to strike, and the rules of the divine gamble are explained. Fuku lunges forward, his sword glowing with blue energy, ready to deliver a powerful blow. The corrupted Aoi readies herself, her dark, tendril-like hair whipping around her. Fuku's blue energy attack violently strikes the corrupted Aoi, causing her to cry out in pain and surprise as blood splatters. Fuku's attack continues to impact the corrupted Aoi, causing her to recoil in agony and shock. Fuku grins confidently, while Aaliyah explains that the bet in their gamble was each other's bodies. Alea, the Lord of Luck, gleefully manipulates golden coins, with images of Fuku and Aoi on them, asserting control over the gamble. The corrupted Aoi writhes in discomfort, seemingly weakened, while Fuku and Alea observe. Alea expresses concern about Fuku's dangerous plan, highlighting the risk of him falling under the seed's control. Fuku smiles confidently, crackling with blue energy, declaring that the risky plan is fine because his conviction is his weapon. A powerful force impacts something, causing Fuku to grunt in pain. Alea winces in pain, clutching her chest as a red tendril from the corrupted Aoi strikes her. Fuku cries out Aoi's name in alarm as she writhes on the ground, her form shifting. Fuku looks back in alarm as green vines suddenly rise from the ground, wrapping around his legs. Fuku reacts with shock as a glowing golden sword materializes near him in the shimmering green liquid. Fuku observes the golden weapon and realizes its purpose is medicine. The glowing golden sword, now fully materialized and solid, stands upright, emanating a powerful aura. Fuku holds the glowing golden sword, declaring his readiness to attack the corrupted Aoi. Blue energy crackles powerfully around Fuku as he charges forward, preparing his assault. Fuku, surrounded by crackling blue energy, shouts for the sword to guide him in his decisive action. Fuku's charge is a dynamic blur of blue energy, signifying his powerful and swift attack. Fuku lunges, unleashing multiple powerful blue energy projectiles toward the corrupted Aoi. The corrupted Aoi stands with dark tendrils flowing from her, bracing for Fuku's imminent strike. Fuku's blue energy attack violently strikes the corrupted Aoi, causing her to cry out in pain and blood to splatter. The corrupted Aoi recoils from Fuku's continuous assault, writhing in agony as the blue energy impacts her. The corrupted Aoi screams in intense pain, bloodied, as green vines and red energy forcefully erupt from her body. The corrupted Aoi looks utterly shocked and bloodied, reacting with a startled expression to an unforeseen development. The corrupted Aoi, despite her weakened state, grins menacingly and vows that no one will escape her. A red, eye-like symbol with sharp tendrils manifests in the corrupted Aoi's hand, emanating malevolent energy. Fuku watches in alarm, calling out Aoi's name, as Alea, the white-haired girl, cries out, engulfed by a red energy blast. The corrupted Aoi collapses backward, consumed by swirling dark and red energy as the seed's influence struggles within her. The corrupted Aoi is engulfed by an intense, multicolored energy explosion, revealing her shrunken form at the core as the possession is purged. A bright golden light bursts from the ethereal surface, signaling the activation of the golden sword, which Fuku previously identified as medicine. Golden light shards scatter around Aoi, who lies wounded, yet a thought bubble conveys profound relief and hope as she regains consciousness. Aoi opens her eyes in confusion as Fuku looks down at her with immense relief under a glowing tree, and she questions his presence. Fuku embraces Aoi tightly, expressing overwhelming relief and happiness that she is safe and herself again. Fuku holds Aoi close, apologizing for what she endured, as she gently embraces him back, accepting his heartfelt sentiment. Aoi pulls away slightly, tears in her eyes, as Fuku holds her shoulders, showing deep regret on her face. Fuku's intense gaze and outstretched arm convey his strong rejection of her self-blame, emphasizing her worth. Fuku passionately declares that their relationship is one of mutual support, not one-sided exploitation. Fuku explains that they cause trouble for each other but also support each other even more profoundly, with shattered ice fragments still visible. Aoi is visibly moved by Fuku's powerful words, her eyes welling up with emotion as she processes his heartfelt declaration of companionship. Fuku wipes away tears, overwhelmed with emotion after expressing his profound feelings and commitment to Aoi. Aoi smiles warmly, reflecting on Fuku's unique character and his consistent support, affirming her understanding and appreciation of him. Alea, the Lord of Luck, with a smug expression, warns Fuku not to get any strange ideas, while asserting that self-destruction is not particularly scary from her divine perspective. Alea looks utterly distraught and tearful, confessing that she genuinely thought she was going to die, revealing her deep fear. Fuku embraces Alea warmly, reassuring her with a declaration that they will continue to cause trouble and support each other, solidifying their bond as companions. Fuku comforts Alea, telling her that they are companions, as she leans into his embrace with a grateful smile, accepting his reassurance. The scene shifts to a lively, festive hall filled with people celebrating, showcasing a relaxed and joyous atmosphere post-crisis. A large, sunglasses-wearing, dog-like creature stands next to a small, lumpy character with a comically swollen nose who profusely apologizes for his appearance, presumably a side effect of the, quote, medicine. The dog-like creature explains that the lumpy character's current state is an excessive result, emphasizing a man's responsibility, while a small inset shows the humorous before and after transformation. An imposing, masked man interrupts the group, addressing a surprised Aoi and Fuku, hinting at further serious developments. Fuku stands triumphantly amidst cheering crowds and confetti, holding his sword, celebrating a hard-won victory or the successful completion of a task. Fuku is propelled into the air in celebration as a jubilant crowd cheers, shouting his name in excitement and appreciation. Argyle, the female character with horns and leaves, pulls Fuku into a bone-crushing hug, expressing overwhelming gratitude, nearly suffocating him. Fuku grunts in pain, nearly suffocating in Argyle's embrace, who continues to express overwhelming thanks, completely unaware of his distress. Aaliyah desperately tries to pull Argyle off Fuku, warning her that Fuku is about to die from the crushing hug, while Argyle playfully insists she wants him as her follower. Aaliyah admonishes Argyle for trying to take Fuku as a follower, reminding her that she already has many, but Argyle remains playfully persistent. A masked man interrupts the chaotic celebration, excusing himself for intruding on their fun. The masked man announces that the Lord Chief is calling, signaling an urgent and important summons for the group. Fuku, the dark-haired girl, and Argyle look shocked as Aaliyah panics, clutching her head and screaming in terror at the mention of the Lord Chief. Fuku and the dark-haired girl observe Aaliyah's extreme distress, noting her face has turned a pale blue to purple, worrying about her well-being. A new character with pink hair and elf-like ears appears, identified as, quote, criminal number 1, stating it's been a while, with labels indicating her past actions: kidnapping, confinement, and forced recruitment. The image uses radiating lines to convey a sense of shock and realization, emphasizing that this sudden news is definitely not good for anyone involved. The pink-haired woman is revealed to have been summoned as well, acknowledging Aaliyah, identified as criminal number 2, gambling addict, fraud, and states she is not there to fight. Argyle, the leaf-crowned girl, identified as criminal number 3, negligent supervision, root cause of this incident, cheerfully suggests they might get something to celebrate clearing the dungeon, oblivious to the gravity of the situation. A powerful presence declares that all have been gathered, causing Aaliyah to tremble with absolute terror. An ornate golden gate swings open, revealing a blindingly divine and authoritative light. The light emanates from a magnificent and impossibly complex golden throne. She looks down upon them with an unsettlingly cold and impassive gaze. From her throne, the girl delivers a chilling verdict: they are all sentenced to death. A brief, comical flashback shows the 3 criminal lords demanding worship from their subjects. The pink-haired girl cheerfully rallies her caged followers to work hard for her faith. Argyle casually surveys the utter destruction of a district caused by her own negligence. Aaliyah leads a reckless protest, insisting their blatant irresponsibility is just part of their charm. The 3 chibi lords dance and sing joyfully, completely unrepentant for their chaotic actions. They end their song by asking humans to forgive them, as the being on the throne watches. The girl on the throne remains stoic and unmoved by their carefree attitude. A title reveals her as Lord Chief Anima, Lord of Life, rank 1, as her eyes glow menacingly. Anima coldly repeats her verdict with absolute finality: death sentence. Wah! Aaliyah breaks down, screaming in disbelief at the sentence as the others look on in horror. Their crimes are officially listed: kidnapping, fraud, and causing urban collapse. Crackle. Anima's hand surges with power as she declares she can no longer overlook their actions. In the name of the Lord of Life, she vows to deliver a severe punishment to the terrified group. Argyle desperately pleads with Anima, protesting that a death sentence is far too harsh. Fuku steps forward with Aoi, joining the plea for mercy. Grabbing a stunned Aaliyah, Fuku acknowledges that what the lords did might be unforgivable. He passionately argues for a chance at redemption, begging for any punishment besides death. Anima becomes visibly flustered, admitting her weakness for sincere pleas from humans. She dramatically declares Fuku's appeal a miracle of life, leaving the group speechless at how easily she was swayed. Leah observes that Anima is extremely soft on humans, much to the pink-haired girl's frustration. Composing herself, Anima states that the immense damage cannot go unpunished. Instead of death, she offers them a new punishment, delivering a single telegram. The group is stunned to learn their mission is to deliver it to her sister on an uninhabited island. The scene shifts to a bright, sunny sky, marking the beginning of their journey. Gaha ha ha! A booming laugh echoes as a yacht speeds across the beautiful ocean waves. Aaliyah, in full vacation mode, laughs maniacally alongside a smiling Argyle, enjoying the ride. Kya! Argyle playfully grabs a blushing Aoi, excitedly shouting for her to enjoy the vacation. As Aoi pushes the giggling Argyle away, Fuku watches them from a distance, lost in thought. The pink-haired girl calls out to Fuku, trying to get his attention. A quick flashback shows Anima remarking that her own hand seems to have gotten bigger. Fuku touches his face, pondering that strange moment with Anima, while the others play. Now at the helm, the pink-haired girl announces over the radio that the island is in sight. They approach a lush, tropical island surrounded by pristine turquoise water. The yacht docks at a simple, rickety pier on a sandy, secluded beach. As they step onto the island, Aaliyah nervously asks if everyone is ready. Aaliyah immediately abandons the mission, splashing joyfully into the ocean in a floaty. Argyle cheers her on while the pink-haired girl watches, thoroughly unimpressed. Suddenly, a horde of muscular men hoists Argyle onto their shoulders like a goddess. The pink-haired girl is shocked, but Fuku explains they're Argyle's followers who are crammed in the cockpit. Fuku tries to restore order, suggesting to Aoi that they deliver the letter first. Argyle waves him off from the water, guessing that Morschan is probably just napping. Wah! She pulls a surprised Aoi into the water, insisting they go catch Octopus right away. Watching the chaos unfold, Fuku stands alone on the shore, questioning if this is truly a punishment. The girl with purple hair is exhausted on the beach chair, with inner thoughts advising to give up and leave people until they are satisfied. The purple-haired girl relaxes on the beach with a drink, observing others who are having a great time. The purple-haired girl tells the boy, who agrees to play, that they'll be stuck on the beach until night. Under the beach umbrella, the purple-haired girl asks the boy if he will become her follower. The purple-haired girl asks the surprised boy why he is shocked, clarifying she is scouting and he is currently free. The boy admits he doesn't understand what a follower is, prompting the purple-haired girl to question if Aaliyah hadn't taught him. A glowing illustration depicts a man kneeling before a divine figure, explaining that followers are exclusive contracts unlike freelance believers. The purple-haired girl elaborates, calling it Hieros Gamos, sacred marriage mythology, as she continues her explanation. A vibrant illustration shows a lord with many people, as the purple-haired girl explains the common union of lords and humans, noting that lords like Argyle now have multiple followers. The boy, seated under the umbrella with the purple-haired girl, decides he cannot afford to be choosy. The purple-haired girl, via Sama, looks pleased as a silent moment passes. A girl in the water screams for Fukutaro-san's help as an octopus attacks her and a small horned creature. The distressed horned creature screams for the octopus to get away as its clothes are being pulled off. The boy splashes into the water to rescue the horned creature from the attacking octopus. The boy rushes off, excusing himself to continue their conversation later. Left alone with the drinks, the purple-haired girl sighs, deeming the situation inefficient. Night falls on the beach as the group gathers around a comforting bonfire. Under the night sky by the bonfire, the group notes the time, confirming it's completely dark and time to deliver the letter to Moors. The dark-haired girl suddenly looks surprised. The boy asks a concerned Aoi-san what is wrong. A terrified Aoi-san clings to the boy, screaming, as the horned creature suggests it might be a ghost. The boy, struggling in Aoi-san's terrified grip, pleads with her not to scare him, fearing he might die. The purple-haired girl calmly suggests the frightening sound is likely just a wild boar on the remote island, while the horned creature remains uneasy. A terrifying group of horror-like figures, including a clown and Jason, suddenly emerge from the dark woods, shocking everyone. The group collectively screams in horror at the sudden appearance of the monstrous figures. Panic ensues as the horned creature, purple-haired girl, and Aoi-san scream, while Aoi-san continues to cling to the boy. The group flees in terror, exclaiming confusion and questioning if the figures are more Sama. The purple-haired girl worriedly observes a yacht in the distance, knowing being caught would be disastrous. A monstrous, shark-like creature erupts from the water, smashing a boat, leaving the boy utterly shocked. A stunned Aoi-san, flanked by two large men, realizes the creature is not a shark but a massive monster. An ominous aerial view reveals the isolated island shrouded in darkness under the night sky. System alert confirms their location as Death Lord Island, an international high-difficulty dungeon with a 0% survival rate at night. The menacing horror figures, including a clown Jason and a ghostly girl, loom closer. A broken sign floats in the water, confirming the terrifying island is, in fact, a dungeon.